Let me know in the comments below what I may have missed, what else I should have, and what you have in your toolbox. Today I have been going through my things, getting everything ready for my trip back to Florida, which I will show you later. I changed some tires and did a few different things. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have a toolbox that I started with a year and a half ago, and every time I go through there are so many things that I haven't used, so I wanted to go through and try and clean it out a bit. I can even open it. So on this top section, I have one of these, and this is just something that goes on the end of my air compressor to make it easier to get to my front tires. I have some tape, which I don't want to get rid of. Then I have a top shelf in here. I have gloves, which I have never used, but I feel that maybe I would use them someday. I have a couple of, this one doesn't look bad, but failed tire extensions. 4-point plug, don't need that. Some kind of wrench, which I have used, so it's good to have a wrench. I have some zip ties. I know I have more of these, so there's a difference between the inexpensive ones you get from the dollar store and the good ones that you get. These are much thicker. The other ones will fail if you're using them on heavy-duty projects, so you really want to invest the money and get a good one. A ruler, some other small wrenches, which I have never found anything to fit them, a screen patch, which I guess is good if I needed to patch my door. So I will keep all those things. I don't know why I'm keeping these. Posterity. Then in here I have a combination wrench kit, which I have used when I had to tighten things after they worked on my car in Kentucky. And something came apart while I was driving, and I had these, and I was able to find the right size and use it. I would like to get a ratchet set. I have not done that yet. So here are some more zip ties. These are the inexpensive ones. These are the more expensive ones, and they're longer, and they're much, much thicker. They're probably double the thickness of these. So you want to make sure that you get good zip ties. This is to try and make it easier to put air in my back tires, but again, that's a project I'm still working on. Here is a tire gauge that everyone raved about. It doesn't work well at all. I don't trust it. Some more cheap zip ties. This is a premium seam roller. So I got this. I have the tape too. If I had a leak on top of my RV, and I needed to use the tape to seal the leak. This is a seam roller. I have not had to use this yet, but I definitely want to keep that with me. This is a ratcheting screwdriver, which I obviously have not used yet. I need a ratchet set, not a ratcheting screwdriver. This might come in handy too, but right now, no. This is I had this from my house. It's an old wrench, which I have used. A mallet, which is good for pounding stakes in, for gazebos and tents and things like that. A bunch of flat screwdrivers, Phillips head screwdrivers, more failed extensions. Corkscrew. Corkscrew, yes, definitely is good. This is some kind of set. If I needed it, I would know I had it. I've used them before. I have some extra hitches, wire cutters. I have a lot of screwdrivers. I probably don't need them all. More wire cutters, a box cutter. I also have a saw in here. This is good for PVC. I haven't had to use that yet either, but it's there. And some sandpaper and some extra screws and some corner bracket braces, which I was going to use to try and hold the lights on the tow dolly, but no matter what we did, those lights were not staying on, so I ended up going with the magnetic lights on the Jeep, and they stay on. So that is what is in my toolbox. So honestly, I really can't see anything in there to take out. If I took out anything, it would be the cheap zip ties because they're useless. And I really don't need these, but you know what happens is that the minute you throw this 6-pole round to 4-wire flat out, you need it. I also see bungees. I go through bungees like crazy. Right now I use them to keep the tow dolly lights on the tow dolly. I use them to keep my door open because that little plastic thing broke off. I use them to tie up things inside on travel days to make sure that things stay where they're supposed to. An extra padlock, an extra pair of scissors, a clamp. I'm not even sure how that got in here, but I can understand why I might need that. And a hammer, a couple hammers, and put my hammers over there. So that is what is in my toolbox. What's in your toolbox? Take a look through and go through and do what I did and tell me what's in your toolbox that you've never ever used before. Guess everything stays. And I'll go over some of the other things I use. My air compressor, my backup battery, things like that I'll show you in a few minutes. At least I have a toolbox. I've decided to move inside to talk about the rest of the things that are in my toolbox because it is just too cold to be outside today. I will put links to all of the things in my toolbox in the description. The next thing on my list would be my electric screwdriver. I had this at my house before I moved. This has come in super handy to do small things in the RV. Put screws in, take screws out, replace screws that fall out. And in here I also have a bunch of different sizes of screws because you never know what you might need. I also have a funnel in my toolbox. I've used this to replace different liquids in the engine. I have a couple of them. I've also used it to put water in my, not this one, but to put water in my freshwater tank. So I would recommend having a few different long neck funnels to make your life easier to put fluids where they need to be. Duct tape. Have several rolls of this in different sizes. This is my favorite size and it's a Gorilla Tape. It has come in super handy for so many things, whether it's holding something temporarily or until I can get it fixed, or holding something and getting me back on the road, or just making sure something stays in place. Everything can be fixed with duct tape. Another thing I have, and I'm going to put this in with my toolbox collection even though I use this for so many different things. Ooh, this is a USB chargeable light. I have a lot of USB charged lights, but this one is a flashlight. So it has different features on it. For one, it's magnetic. So if I need to look at something at night, I can apply the magnet. I use this, I just put my fingers in it and take it out. It fits in my pocket when I'm walking the dogs at night, or I can hang it from my gazebo to provide light if we're playing games. So this is such a handy tool. I have other flashlights too that are handheld, but the magnetic one is the best. And last, I've mentioned this before, this is my EcoFlow solar battery. I don't charge it with solar. I don't have the panels to do that with right now. It's easy enough where you can pick it up and carry it around. I do use it when I put air in my tires. Rather than have a battery for my air compressor, I bring this with me. Right now I'm using it to charge a smaller heater because it's cold out and I have my mini split heater going. But because I'm on a 20 amp power cord right now, I don't want to overload it. So I'm using the battery bank to run the small heater right now. It charges quickly. Even if I let this get down to nothing, it will charge within 45 minutes to 80%. It does take another 45 minutes or so to charge to 100. I use it when I'm boondocking, possibly to run a TV on, so I'm not using my solar battery bank. and this has really helped me out to supplement my solar and my battery banks on rainy days or cloudy days. So I think that's everything that's in my toolbox. I was surprised to find that most of it I've actually used or feel like I should be keeping. There's really nothing in there that I feel I would want to get rid of. And let me know in the comments below what I may have missed, what else I should have, and what you have in your toolbox.